it's something I've worked on my entire life of how to continue to see things in a positive light. If you keep saying I have heavy hands, my putting is this, my putting is this, it's shocking at how strong that is and how deep it gets, how deeply rooted the subconscious takes it.
Yeah. Like I'd go play my last 4 events. I think I probably missed 12 greens, 13 greens. And then those are all the span of 2, 3, 4 day events. I want to be here, but I'm here. I like what you said to me last time. You got to mature into a child.
You got to mature into a child. I saw your eyes so intense, like trying, and it was with Ed trying to, so your intenseness of trying to get things is what's blocking you from actually getting that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to look at it, and you already saw, and you knew where I could have thrown it over here, and your arm would go like that. So you're still missing the response. You got it in the ball striking, and where it could originate from is how you subconsciously think about your putting, right? If you keep saying I have heavy hands, my putting is this, my putting is this, it's shocking at how strong that is and how deep it gets, how deeply rooted the subconscious takes it.
Yeah.
So and we'll just use this as a starting point. Whenever you start thinking or feeling something negative about your putting, it's like it immediately has to stop and replace it with, I'm a good putter. I'm a good putter. God, I have heavy hands. I suck at it. No, stop. I'm a good putter. Because I'm sure your stroke is world class.
Yeah.
So we look at the stroke and we'll take a look at it. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with the stroke.
No.
You know how to hit a putt.
Yeah.
Right? But the subconscious feeds off of little micro nuggets of things that you feed it.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's any bit of, especially trying to get to a world-class level or build anything of value, we have to constantly put the subconscious in feeding it. I'm good. So when it starts to feed off of that, then it does start to blossom into something different than I'm not good, I have heavy hands, I hit my lines, but it's dead, right?
Yeah.
So it can start there.
Yeah.
And this is a muscle that we have to exercise. Our brain is a muscle that it's got to be conditioned and used properly if we're chasing something, just as if we're going to the gym to chase whatever our goals are with our bodies, with muscles and stretching, and we're going to repeatedly go to the gym to get something.
Yeah.
And it's not a quick, well, I got a lesson on how to get stronger, but I'm going to go back to my old ways. So when Ed used to talk about new wineskin,
yeah,
right? Remember those conversations?
Yep.
It starts with a subconscious image of what that looks like and feels like, and then it has to continue to be nurtured, right? Yep. And it's a lifetime journey. It's not just a short term, it's not a quick fix, it's a lifetime journey of how I think about myself and how I reflect on my day, how I'm going to make tomorrow better. So it's constantly feeding my subconscious, especially before I go to bed, on what I think about my future son-in-law or my putting or my chipping,
for sure,
or my relationship with my wife, whatever it is, the way that I drive. So it's something I've worked on my entire life of how to continue to see things in a positive light.
Yeah.
And negative still creeps in there. It's not bulletproof. Just like somebody who goes to the gym, it's like, I want beer, I want Doritos, I want crappy food, but I have to say, well, I have a goal of, so I can't, or I can a little bit. This fits within the boundaries of what I can and can't have for my diet.
Yeah.
So with the mind, it's like we have to continue to exercise it properly and feed it properly. So It's like if we have any kind of talks about your putting, it's like for me, all I would want to hear is everything positive and not fooling yourself about it.
See, like that's the thing. Like if I'm like I have to be like realistic with myself. Like these are the numbers that I'm putting up because of this. Like it has nothing to do. Like I'd go play my last 4 events. I think I probably missed 12 greens, 13 greens, and then like those are all the span of like 2, 3, 4 day events, and it's like I know where it is, and it's like, okay, well, if that's the problem, like how can I fix it? So like I'll go through like drills and stuff, and like I listen to like a lot of like Brad Faxon and Ben Crenshaw, and they always talk about flow, and it's like, okay, well, how do I get there? Like where am I at? It's like, okay, well, like they're here, like, I want to be here, but I'm here. Like it is not like, you know what I mean? I don't want to BS myself, like through it.
Yeah, and it's not a fake it till you make it thing. It's not a BS thing. It's true belief in that you have the skills in this.
Yeah.
But what's blocking you from that coming out?
What's holding me back from actually doing it?
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like when I talk about like being streaky, it's like some days like some putts just everything drops.
Right.
It's like, and the worst part is, it's like it like 74 and 64 will literally feel the same exact way.
Just like getting them to go in.
Just getting them to go in or not.
Right.
And like that's the biggest difference, because like guys who consistently put in like solid numbers, it's not so much like, I mean, their ball striking doesn't really change like day to day. It's not like it's like you're world-class ball striker one day and then you're shit the next. Like that's not how it works.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, putts just drop, but you can't give up strokes like on here.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. Like there's zero chance, because if you do, it's like I talked to Josh a lot. Well, I used to, and like we played Cal State Open together, and like he was like super frustrated, right? So he was
Josh Anderson,
yeah. So he started working with like Steve Lowry, and like Steve tried to help me out with some putting, and like he liked the fact that I went to no line, because everything was there, right? Instead of like, here, I'm not dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
Like it was worse when I had like a line on there.
Yeah.
But like Josh found a way to like kind of overcome like that, and I feel like it's something that, it's like a journey, like you said. It's like never ending. You're always trying to find it.
Yeah.
Because like there's no way like quick fixes don't work. Because like as soon as like it doesn't work, like I'm back to like ground zero.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, we did it. The first year I won Long Beach. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I shot 72 the first round, and the second round I told Ed, I go, dude, I'm not looking at another putt.
Yeah.
Because I hit it fine to shoot 72.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't make anything because I'm trying so hard to make putts.
Correct.
And then I just completely gave up. I'm like, you just tell me where to hit it. So I'd mark my ball, I'd throw it to him. I'd just sit over here, look at the mountains, and I'm just like staring out into nothing, just hanging out, totally relaxed.
Yeah.
And he'd come back and he's like, hey, come on. I'm like, oh, hey, give me the ball. He goes 1 cup right to left. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I put my ball down. I wouldn't read it, but I'd just come back to get my bearings of, right? And I'd just come up and I'd set up to what he'd tell me. I'm like, oh, 1 cup right to left. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, geez, man, that was so easy.
Yeah.
Right? We played the next 6 holes 7 under.
Yeah.
And obviously went on to win.
Yeah.
Because we were able to do it for 3 days. Because I was in the right mind state where I completely gave up. And, I shot 18 under for the 3 days and won by 2. And then went to the next tournament and tried to do it again.
Yeah.
Disaster. Because I was back in my own way. Ed did everything right of doing what he did.
Yeah.
But I was back in my controlling mode of where he would say, okay, it's 1 cup right to left. And I'd go, okay, fine. But I'd get in here and I'd go, I think it's a half a cup. Right? I'd get in here and I'd go half a cup. So I was back into controlling things.
Yeah.
But when I gave up and just do what I was told, that's when the skill just purely came out with no interference.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, so good.
Yeah.
I'm in the final round with like 5 holes to go. I'm tied and I'm in the back of the green with some kid eating his chips.
Yeah.
Talking to him and his dad, just chilling. I'm like, hey, it's like, dude, we're up. I'm like, oh, hey, I gotta go. Right? We gotta roll the putt. because I was so disconnected. I'm a way better green reader than Ed is. Why would I trust him?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's got experience. He's played golf for a lot of years, but I'm better at reading greens than he is.
Correct.
But the fact that I was so checked out of being perfect that my hands got lighter. I didn't have heavy hands trying to hit my line.
Yeah.
Trying to do this. Right? So as I continued, it's like I get really, I do all my diligence.
Yeah,
I get all
for
my
sure.
information, right? And it's like, okay, this is right edge. So when I get into my putt, it's like I'm setting up to where right edge is, fully committed, not questioning, maybe it's just outside right.
Yeah.
It's like, no, everything I just did said it is right edge. Done. I made a decision, right? So I set up right edge, and everything is just so soft, and I almost feel like my eyes like get blurry.
Yeah.
I'm just staring. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm staring at. I'm not focused on the ball. I'm not focused on a spot. I'm not focused on anything. Once I've set my body up and I know that putter is right edge and I'm soft, there's no tension, right? My eyes, sometimes I feel like they're out there, right? Because they're so soft and just like dripping down.
Yeah.
Right? They're not intense. So what I do with some of my better players is I watch their eyes. And their eyes, as they're down here ready to hit a putt, their eyes are like big.
Yeah.
And they're like focused. So if the eyes are still big and focused, I know you're still turned on here, trying to like make sure you hit it right edge. So the hands get heavy, the speed changes. Now it's a right center putt.
Yeah.
Because of the way you are.
Yeah.
Right? So now everything's changed from what you casually walked around the green looking at all the information that says it's right edge. Now you get in here and you're so focused and so busy here trying to be perfect that the hands get heavy, the speed gets firmer, and
Yeah.
right.
Now,
Well, guy, I hit my line. Yeah, you hit your line with heavy hands. Why are the hands heavy? You're still involved.
Yeah.
So what we'll go through is how do I check out, right? Because you've done all the work.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do I comfortably do what I need to do without being so involved? So it is right edge with the right speed, whether it's firm or soft, whatever,
Yeah.
uphill, downhill, right?
Well, like so this weekend, A-Bird, right? When he won, I just watched his hands. Like literally, that's just it. Like I watched all the recap of how he won the event, the RSM or whatever. Yeah. And like, God, it's so beautiful. Like there's zero tension, like zero. It's like when he hits putts, like it's almost like as soon as like his eyes like step back, it's just like, boom.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing. I was like, damn, that's pretty nice. Like that looks so good. And the thing is, like, it's not just about like I know that he's in a headspace to like just look and react.
Right.
Like that's all he's doing, right? Reacting.
Yeah.
Like he sees it there, and then he just steps up and he just goes.
Right.
And it's like, why am like where am I? Thought process wise, you can't really have a thought process, right? I mean, it's not really a thought process. It's more just a reaction to what you see.
It's more response.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we need thought for? Right. Your body knows, just as we've been talking. This is smarter than this. Your body is smarter than your brain. It knows what to do. Yet we keep thinking if we drag it through here, we're adding to what our body already knows what to do. Well, it's not adding to, it's interfering with it. It'd be like if I threw this ball to you and you did this, it'd be like, okay, I see it coming. Make sure that I bend my right elbow and open up my hand and bend my wrist like this so I can catch it. But do it at a speed where that ball's coming. So it's like, what about what you just did?
Yeah.
Right? So being in the right mind state allows for that response to happen.
Yeah.
And with other sports, the movement, so we're moving and responding to whatever because we don't have time to think.
For sure.
But then you still see other sports, you can see them thinking.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
whether it's a shortstop, seeing a ball come, it's like you could see their body just kind of freeze up a little bit because they had time to turn this on.
yeah.
But you see these unbelievable plays where they don't have time for this, and their body just like goes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's getting the right mind state. Well, how do we get there? We can talk more about that. But two, it's just allowing for the eyes to just drip. And it starts with this being able to turn off because you've done all the work, you have the skill, you're committed to your line, you've been hitting your lines but with heavy hands.
Yeah.
So again, why are the hands heavy? How do we turn off? Be in the right mind state. And that's practice.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it could
It's
start
constant.
it could start with a subconscious belief of what you have and keep building it subconsciously so the image that you have of yourself in your putting is so good, which it is, and others will tell you it is. Why don't you believe it? Oh, I believe it, but I just want to be a little bit better, so I'm going to make sure I'm doing what I believe I'm good at.
For sure.
Right? That's the interference.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
And we see, we watched Camila Villegas and Eric Van Rooyen both win back-to-back with, Camila's, his daughter passed away, and Van Rooyen, his pal, passed away from cancer. It's like, where are they mentally?
They're not there.
They're with them.
Yeah.
I mean, Van Rooyen's deal coming in is like, so good, right?
I mean, you look at an example for me was Lucas Glover. Like, how did a guy who probably had the worst putting statistic on the PGA Tour, and then he just overcame it, and then he found a way, and he was I think it was a post round interview, and he was just I just trusted what I saw, and I was like, damn. But it's that level of trust, right? So obviously if I see a target from 130, it's I know for a fact what I'm gonna hit there.
Yeah.
I know it. With every fiber in my body knows exactly what I'm gonna hit.
Right.
It's automatic. It's I don't even have to I don't even take a practice swing. It's I see it and it's I just go. And that that's how I want to feel when I'm putting.
Yeah.
But I don't. So
I'll be up on this green and I'll just go back and forth to this hole. I'll sit here for an hour with 5 balls and I just see how many under par I can get. Every make is a birdie, every 3 putts a bogey.
Yeah.
So I'm not too tied up in being perfect. If I run one by, I go make it. If I leave it short, sometimes I'll do a game where that's a bogey, right? And I'm just free. And I'm going to make bogeys, but I don't get wrapped up in it. I'm going to make a lot of birdies,
yeah.
right? But I'm free, and I practice being free. So the way that you practice will have a lot to do with how you play. So we can tap into how are you practicing?
I did a lot of drills.
Yeah. So
a lot.
Okay.
I'm on the board a lot. I'm on chalk lines.
Here's where doing a lot of drills can keep you. Right here. Right? Because you're focused on the technical things that you're trying to get better at.
Yeah.
It keeps you right here. So how do you go play? Make sure I do what I felt I was doing on the board. Yeah. Make sure I do what Brad Faxon said, because I've been listening to him a lot. So it keeps you in this little space, so you're not playing, right? So those are valuable tools to build technique.
Yeah.
Fine. But you have to make sure that you practice playing, because playing keeps your mind in a state to where it's reacting like a kid would be playing with a toy.
Yeah.
Right?
I like what you said to me last time. You're like, you got to mature into a child.
You got to mature into a child.
I really like that, because I was thinking about it. I was like, man, kids are really huge. They just
play.
They just play.
Yeah. They master playing.
Yeah.
When they get a new toy, they play with the toy until they've mastered it.
Yeah.
And then they get bored with it, then they go play with the box that the toy came in. They've done everything with that box that they can do. They've mastered that. Then they go on to playing with something else. They just play. There's no technical thing about how they play.
No.
They just purely play, right? Which is what we all grew up doing when we learned golf. We just played.
Just play.
And then we go, well, I got to get good at this because I'm a professional and I got to make sure that I'm doing everything at a high level. Interference from playing. Imagine a kid trying to be perfect at playing. Yeah, they'd be miserable.
Yeah.
Start breaking stuff and throwing stuff.
I was close.
Like,
I was close to snapping this after hole 7. I was like, and then Andre looped for me, right? And he goes like, you just gave me like the dirtiest look, and I didn't even talk to you like about the shot, like about the putt. He was like, I didn't even say anything about your line, and he was like, and you found a way to blame me. And he was like, just relax. He was like, just calm down. He's like, putts drop, putts don't. Like it doesn't matter. He's like, I don't know why you're like, and I was like, well, I just missed 5 in a row, and I just 3-putted the first hole from 3 feet. I was like, I don't exactly know what you want me to say. And he was like, just fucking relax.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In the history of people telling people to relax and calm down,
it's never works.
No, it doesn't
never
work.
Well, you know what? Like I did find myself like resetting, right? So then like on 8, like I hit driving in the middle, and then I hit 6-iron from like 205 to like 3 feet. And then Andre was like, I'm just not gonna say anything. He's like, just make the putt. And I literally just looked. I didn't even take a practice stroke. And I closed my eyes in this putt because I literally didn't want to like get involved in any way, like shape or form. So I like closed my eyes for the 3-footer and made eagle. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, not the worst thing that you've ever done.
Right.
Like, this might be like you might be onto something. I get to 9, hit it on the fringe, pin high, like 12 feet. And then I was like, oh well, I should do it again. But I was like, I got to be a little more careful in my speed.
Right. Yeah.
Gone. Bye. Nice little.
Those are just little band-aids.
Yeah.
I do a lot of putting up here with my eyes closed.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the drill that I do, I'll have 8 quarters. I'll do a putter length plus a foot or whatever, and I'll just go around. I set 8 spots, and I'll have 2 balls, and I'll sit here and I'll just set up comfortably, and I go. I have to make 2 in a row. Then I go to the next, 2 in a row, 2 in a row, 2 in a row. If I miss one, I stay there. So then I'll do it again. And I try to beat the first. If I miss 3, I'll try to.
Do you go through your routines?
No, not on this one.
Oh.
So I'll do that. The second time around, I'll do it with 1 ball, and I'll get set up, and then I close my eyes, and I go, and it's like I feel like I barely moved.
Yeah.
So, and it felt so good and free. Then I hear it, I get the feedback. I'm like, it builds trust.
Yeah.
Right? So I do that all the way around, and then I'll go around again, and I'll get my line. Then I draw a line that goes, and I see the piece of grass where it goes in on, and I keep my eyes on that piece of grass. And I go, builds more trust, because I'm not managing my stroke.
Correct.
I'm trusting my stroke, right? And then I do it again. I go all the way around, and I will go through reading it, right? So I read it. I know what it does. It's right edge. I get up. I'm going through my routine.
Yeah.
Right. So I set up, do the whole thing. Right. My eyes come back, and I go. Okay. So, and then I'll do it again, moving these quarters back about 2 feet.
Yeah.
And I do the whole thing again. Right. So doing it with my eyes closed for me on short putts, I found has given me the best feedback for trust, because I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I can feel everything. Which when I'm hitting a 3-footer, like, I don't feel anything moving. I'm feeling everything, but nothing's moving because I'm not involved. So, are my hands heavy?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Nothing's heavy.
Nothing's heavy.
Nothing.
Right? So repeat. Yeah. So it starts to build trust. I don't need to be on a board. I don't need to listen to Faxon and Crenshaw. Respect the best putters in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Right? And nuggets of information from them, yes. Great.
Like one thing that Brad's big thing is he was like, the putter doesn't need to be open or closed. He's like, you don't need to be perfect. in the world. He's like, you look at like where they're like lined up, and it's like they're not perfect. He's like, they're not trying to be perfect, but they know what their body's doing. It's like automatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so in the right mind state, trust is included, belief is included, confidence is included. I don't need to go into a putt and trust, believe, commit, have confidence. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's already there. If I do more of it, I'm interfering with what's
correct
already there. If we do more of it, we're not trusting. We're helping. Help is interfering.
Yeah.
I don't have to help. It's there. I already know how to hit a 4-foot putt slightly uphill right edge. I trust my stroke to do it. It doesn't need anything more. I just need to be so it can happen. Right? But when I start like doing too much, then I'm involved through here again.
Oh, 100%.
My eyes get intense, my hands get a little heavier because I'm trying a little bit hard. If my optimal grip pressure on this putt right here might be, because it's slightly uphill, it might be a 5, right? And if this putt here going downhill and fast, my optimal grip pressure might be a 3. Okay, well, how do I don't sit there and go, it's got to be a 3 now because it's downhill. It's all through senses.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like to be able to trust like that, like just instinctively, right? Because everything's like when it comes to a lot of like how I learned ball striking, like to hit the ball really well, is like as long as like you can feel like you're in a good posture, and you have kind of like a feel of like what is correct and what isn't.
Right.
You're just going. Like there's no thinking about it. There's nothing. It's just like, okay, well, I know for a fact that if I can get the shaft in relation to the shot that I want, my shoulders like set up, everything just goes. I don't have to worry about it. So like I can just feel that. But I get to a putting green and it's like I'm looking at it and it's like sometimes I don't know what to feel. Do you get what I'm saying? Like like pitching, it's like you look at it, it's like, okay, this is my lie, not a good lie, but I know exactly what I need to do. Right. I know how the ball is going to react. Yeah. But it's like you get to putting, it's like you get to good surfaces, and it's like you know what the ball is going to do, and yet you still don't trust what it's doing. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know.
Let's hit some.
It's kind of a conundrum for me.
Yeah. It's open. It was. I'd start here, and I'd just kind of do my hands this way. I go here, and it would just be that finger.
Yeah.
And what it did for me at the time was took the back of my right hand and really squared it up to my target line. So I'm like, oh my God, that feels awesome.
Yeah.
So it gave me touch right in these fingers. Right. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I did that for like a year.
I feel like guys tamper with that all the time. Like until like to get into something comfortable. Because like nothing feels comfortable. Like it's not so much like I'd set up and it's like, okay, well my body feels pretty good, but like you know how a putter's like it's really intimate, so it's like it's an extension of your hand, but like it doesn't feel comfortable.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
And then like you start wanting to like manipulate something,
yeah.
which like it's a subconscious thing because obviously it's uncomfortable, so you'll try to do something.
Yeah, my putting stroke now is probably it's been the same now for the last few years, but prior to that, it's changed. For 20 years, it's been changing. And now when I grip the putter, I don't even think about it. It's just... So I would, so here's where... Yeah, so relax your eyes. I had a friend call them Spicoli eyes.
What do you mean?
From Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh.
Right? It's like your eyes are stoned.
Yeah.
I'm a virgin pot smoker. I don't know what, but it's like the eyes are they're just hanging down, like totally zoned out. Right? So they're not like like focused. My eyes aren't like this because I already feel when I open my eyes and focus on something, I felt my arms tense up.
Yeah.
Right. So when I could just be just chill, it's like now my wrist drops.
I did putt really good that way though, just dumb. But like I couldn't hit a ball. Like everything just felt really fuzzy.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't trust what I was doing. So like it was almost like, cause I was like I gotta find a way to like putt better. And so like I did that, and it's like okay, well now like my body's like super relaxed.
Yeah. Now the motor skill's gone.
Yeah, my motor skills are gone.
Right.
But like now it's like oh wait, I can't feel how like where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's like I get to putting, it's like everything's just dropping. It just feels so good. I'm like, okay, well, that's not the answer.
Yeah, drugs in it.
Yeah. Like my hands haven't felt that soft
Right.
in like probably the last 3 months.
Right.
Like just that. But it's different because like going out there and playing, like if you're playing for something, like I feel like it kind of intensifies everything. So like when I'm just like putting, it's like it's I want to get my mind into that mind frame, but at the same time, like I don't want to overdo it. You
Well,
know?
like you said earlier that you love, mature into a child.
Yeah.
So what would you do here? What would a child do here? They're just whacking balls all over
Yeah,
the green,
look
trying
and
to
go.
get it in the hole.
Correct.
And I got kids, they're like 5 and 6 years old, and they're just hitting putts, but they make them,
Yeah.
right? And they'll look at it and they'll just go like, and they're like this, and they're just like, bam! And it starts on line, the speed's good. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let that go.
Yeah.
Because that kid's playing off of instinct, and I'm not going to fix that stroke for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And then when they start to get older, I'm gonna see if they fix it just by watching golf, being around golf as they mature,
Yeah.
without taking the instinct away and getting them all mechanical and getting them on a board at 7 years old and trying to get them all perfect. Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna see if it matures into better as they get older. At some point, we do need a stroke that's efficient,
Correct.
with launch conditions off the face.
Of course.
But for a kid, they're just whacking balls all over the place, just playing.
Yeah.
All they want to do is make stuff, right? So when you practice, it's being more like that. You don't need the board. Your stroke is fine, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be tied down in this little area. You need to be external, looking at where you want that thing to go. And then getting the sensory feedback of, like you just said, I haven't felt that soft in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's so good. Like a lot of my putts, like on that second putt, I have like 3 feet by. I run 3 feet by, and like that's stressful. Like that's really stressful. Like going out there and playing. Like I played this event up in Idaho, and I was like, I had a couple putts that, like the greens were at 13. So I was like, I knew for a fact, I was like, I don't have to hit it hard. So it almost made it more comfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to like something that's a little bit slower, or like it's a little bumpy, and like you start like thinking about it, and it's like dead out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and all the reality is it's just a change of surface.
Yeah.
That as a professional athlete, you have more than enough ability to adapt to that change of surface.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, with your touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I barbecue, I'll go barbecue and grill stuff at other people's houses, and I'm on a charcoal grill, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what temperature I cook at. I just know how many of whatever I'm cooking. I can cook a whole pork loin, 5-pound pork loin, a 3-pound tri-tip, 3 pounds of salmon, and chicken, all at the same time, just knowing where the temperatures are.
Correct.
With my hand.
Correct.
Hey, and I get text messages. Hey, what temp do you grill your tri-tip at? I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? It comes out perfect every time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I know this is the right temp for tri-tip.
Yeah.
Right? So when I go to somebody else's house, it's like, hey, on my grill, there's a hot spot back here. It's like, I'll find it.
Yeah.
There's your hot spot. So I know what I'm going to do back there, and I know what I'm going to do on this part of the grill. Right? So the surface, as I wouldn't say a master griller, but a very experienced griller, I can identify the surface pretty quick with like no stress of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I got to make sure I'm going to go practice on their grill. before I cook for 20 people at their house tomorrow night. It's like, no, just give me, light that thing up. Let's go.
It's funny, like my ex and I, like we were at the house, and like she's like, "Oh, can you like throw some steaks on the grill?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, I can do things on a saucepan, and I can flambe and do all that, but I don't really do much grilling." So I'm out here with a thermometer. I bought 3 extra thermometers. I was like, we're grilling some steaks, and I was like, well, I don't want to like overcook, and so I'm out here like poking and prodding like the crap out of my steaks. And like making sure that everything's like really good. And it's like, okay, like 126 internal, pull it off. Now you got perfect medium rare at like 130. Right? And she was like, well, you didn't need to buy that many thermometers. She's like, you didn't even need a thermometer. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I want it to be this. And she's like, no. She's like, you think these people really care? They're not paying, $150 for a meal. It's like, it's just.
But you had no experience grilling steak.
I had no experience.
Yeah.
And they came out really good.
Yeah, so you need that. That's fine.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, a lot of the times, like, it's trying to find, like, I had to find my own answer. You know what I mean? And, like, somebody once told me, like, if you don't, like, putting is so intimate that if you rely on somebody trying to like give you information and like tell you what to do, you'll never find it. And like because putting is so personal, like it has to be full trust. It's like a relationship. You know what I mean? Like 100% trust. Like there's no outside source coming in and trying to dilute what you're doing. And like I realize that too. It's like I get a lot of information, and like it's not that it's bad. Yeah. It's just that it's a lot.
It's part of the building blocks that you're going to find your way with.
Correct. He's like ball striking, chipping, like off the tee. Like he's like, yeah, you can get guidelines for that, and those are needed because those are bigger movements. But like putting is like it's small movement, and it's the clearance of this, so that everything just kind of.
It's the easiest movement.
It's the easiest movement, right? Like you're moving it no more than a foot here and a foot there.
Right.
It's like it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Because everybody just wants to get it. But there's so many things going on.
So I would suggest that you put everything down, the putting boards, the videos, the listening, and just play. Just get lost in playing. Your way.
Yeah.
Like a child would, right? Just get lost in playing, not perfecting a stroke. You could be thinking about other things. Responding to what you think is happening here.
That is so much better.
And just repeat. And that's brilliant, Harold. It's finding your way.
Yeah.
It is so intimate and personal, and it takes time to find your way because we're searching for a little nugget here and there to help us find our way. But sometimes we get stuck on their way again, which is stuck right in this little area.
Yeah. For sure.
And then we practice that way because, I heard from so-and-so that doing this drill really helped them. Well, I'm going to do that drill.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that drill, and then I go play, and I'm thinking of the drill, and I'm no longer responding to what the putt is. Yeah, correct, so now I'm trying so hard. I want to make that, but I'm trying to do it here. I'm like, so what happens? One more notch, one more notch, one more notch, one more notch into my shoulders, heavy hands.
Yeah.
Right. So practicing playing your way like a child would, they're not getting instructions on how to play.
No, they're not.
No, they just look at stuff all over the room and they just start tearing stuff apart.
It's funny, like, just like not even like thinking, I'm just looking, like my speed is like automatically better. Like whether it's like line-wise or not, but like it's just...
Line-wise, they were all the same.
Yeah.
Speed is also very consistent. Obviously, a foot short.
It just doesn't. There's like no like hesitation.
Right.
Like no.
And the ball comes off more consistent.
Solid.
So now you can actually read a 10-foot putt with one cup right to left, and it's actually going to do it.
Yeah. Correct.
Right.
Correct.
It's not going to be heavy hand. Yeah, the read was correct.
Yeah.
But you don't know what speed you're hitting it with.
No.
So now the read is a question mark.
Correct.
But it's right to left for just about the entire field, one cup.
Yeah. For
right?
sure.
And that's, I think, why Tiger was so good because he got that putter face back to the ball the same every time.
Every time.
So it came off the same every time. So the ball behaved the same every time. So 6 inches right to left was 6 inches right to left on any speed of green all day long.
Do you find that like if you miss, like there's a couple putts that you miss, and you find yourself getting more and more involved, and then you continue that spiral down?
I have, absolutely. But then as I matured more, whether it's matured more or matured more into a child, and I'll say it not into a child, but as I matured, I got more patience. So having more patience when I miss, I don't change anything because I like what I'm doing. And it might turn into birdieing 2 of the last 3 to shoot 3 under.
Yeah.
Where if I got impatient and I forced one, it would go from being actually pretty good, just not getting a result, to now being not good and not getting a result.
Correct.
So what do I take into tomorrow? Frustration, not good, no result, versus if I just stay the course and I stay patient, what do I bring in tomorrow? More good. And it could happen. And if it doesn't, what do I have next week? But I stay the course. So now I have a foundation that I'm performing from, and it's not all over the place. So what am I going to bring next week? I don't know. I hope something good.
Yeah.
As I got older, I knew what I was bringing to every tournament. It was the same stroke. It was the same routine. It was the same pace of stroke and strike.
Yeah.
So they're going to go in or they're not. If they don't, I go to the next hole. I give myself the best opportunity. Goes in, it doesn't. I go to the next hole again. Right? But I don't. And I used to change. Like, I got to do this. I got to push harder.
Like
I
I find myself
speed.
doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't work, like I'll give it like 2 or 3 holes, and then like, okay, well that didn't work. So then like I was like, okay, well I got to do a little something different. Like what am I doing different now? You know, and it's weird because like when it comes to putting, like there are just some times that you don't feel comfortable like with what you're doing, and it's not so much like the technique is wrong. It's just because putting's a frame of mind, right? It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, you're just reacting to what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But if you don't feel comfortable in what you're doing, it's like it gets really.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. It's hard to explain. But
no, if you parented a child that way with your spouse, that kid would be like
crazy.
You'd be like, what the hell? There's no discipline. There's no structure.
Yeah.
So it's so inconsistent in the household that the child is so confused. They're like, we don't know. I don't know if I do this, I'm going to get in trouble or not. But when it's consistent patterns of discipline or acceptance by both you and your spouse, and you're at a united front, you're on the same page, then there's peace in the household and consistency in the household. So now we're making decisions off of what the expectations are, what the disciplines might be. So I stay in line.
Yeah.
Right? But if I parented my child for 3 days one particular way, and then it's like that didn't work, and you try another way, and that didn't work, and you try another way, then you go back to that way. It's like the kid's going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. No,
So it puts the kid in a squirrely place of mind of,
correct.
I really don't know what my parents
That's a really
are doing.
good way of explaining it.
Right?
I never actually thought of it like that.
But when you stay doing the same thing, whether you get the result or not, then you're bringing the same thing to every round, which eventually, if you're doing good things and it's coming off the putter face consistently with quality, it'll go in eventually.
Yeah.
It might not this week, it might not next week, it might not this month, but you have to stay the course and maintain a foundation of where you're playing from. Otherwise, it's team here, there, bouncing here, going there, trying this again, combined with this. It's like, wow.
Well, so I don't know, like the way I look at it is the different, like obviously, what is it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting a different result. Well, clearly what I was doing wasn't working. So I was like, okay, well maybe I should change things up. And then like that wasn't working. So like I would try to like create a small habit, almost like a Band-Aid fix. But then like it like wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work. And I was like, okay, well, where's the root of that problem? Like where does that come into? It's like, okay, well, it's like it was different for me. Like if I'm like when when I figured out like when we were down there the other day, and like we were pitching, and like I was explaining like the 3 release points by Daniel Grieve. So I was like 1, 2, 3, and it made sense to me, but I don't think about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well if it doesn't work out, it's like okay, I have another. But like putting is it's the final thing. It's like it's the final piece. It's like okay, well if guys drip putts in, it's like okay, well that's like at the end of the day, that's where it comes down to. This is where you make your bread and butter. So if it doesn't work, it's like I got to try to like want to do something else because you wanted to get involved. Like it's just how
It's
it is.
human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature.
Yeah, that's what separates the best from the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
They figured out how to do it. And to do it at a high level, yeah, it's hard. We're asking, we're in the top 0.0 whatever percent of people who play this game on the planet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I cracked the top 1,000, 15 years ago. It's like, just thinking of me being in the top 1,000 golfers in the world, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what we're attempting to do is such high end that it takes such effort to get all of our stuff to work the way it needs to, so we can be in the top 1,000 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we try hard, good intentions, but maturing into a child through the way you practice, I think, for you, and you figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
That could take you to a place to where the hands get soft and that beautiful putting stroke can work. Right. And then staying there.
Correct.
Just stay there. And honestly, Herd, you can pick anywhere you've been on your journey of how you putted and stay there.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere. But just stay there and build off it. I mean, how do you think Jim Furyk got to where he did with all what he does? He stayed there, believed in it, mastered it, and wins with it.
He's pretty good.
Just stay there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I can give you tips on how to be in a better place, Faxon, Crenshaw, the putting board, blah, blah. Everybody can give you a way to get there.
But I kind of have to.
You have to be able to play like a child the way you want to.
Yeah.
The way it feels best to you. But staying there is an important piece to it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Week after week after week. Practicing that way is the way you understand how there feels. Because if you keep practicing here, you're doing too much and less play.
Yeah. It's so good.
See how I'm holding it?
Yeah.
Right? So I'll hold it like just with one finger. So as I'm setting up, it's just leaning on my finger. And then when I like how the setup feels, I'll grip it with both hands, but it's at like a 0.
Yeah.
I'm just touching it. And then I feel it increase in pressure. And then when I feel it's the right pressure, yeah, and it's going to be different from a downhill to an uphill, right? So when I feel like there's enough pressure in my hands to move this thing the way it needs to be moved,
That was really good.
and my putter will bounce, right? So I don't start from on the ground and go. It bounces.
Yeah, constant movement.
Yeah. How come? What caused it to go hard? What did you do here to change how hard you hit those last 2?
Well, first of all, I started kind of like wanting to get it on my line better. And then it just kind of gradually kept on. Yeah, that was much better.
Yeah, you've been on a good line. They just weren't going in. So then you said, I want to get on my line better. All of a sudden, the hands got heavy. You've been on a good line. I mean, how many 30-footers do you make?
Yeah, that felt so good.
Right? I mean, this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
But the percentages are so low.
Yeah.
Right? But we think we should make them. They're makeable. I mean, the putt from here to Jaden going 50 feet, it's makeable.
Yeah.
But how many of these are going to make? One a year?
Yeah.
And how many of these am I going to make in 18 holes? Maybe 0. But we miss them, and then we go, oh, I'm going to get a little tighter on my line, and I hit it a little harder. Now I 3-putt.
At least speed-wise, it's consistent.
Yeah, it's consistent.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Like, I can feel it, like, as soon as it comes off, if it's correct and if it isn't.
Right.
Right? So, like, it's not so much like, oh, like, contact-wise, it's bad. It's
Yeah.
just, I can tell, like, automatically.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well,
It didn't match what the picture looked
Correct.
like. Yeah.
correct.
And you know right away. I mean, it's going to be 2 feet short, 2 feet long, a little right,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
I mean, it's like the feedback's so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.